Well, good afternoon, everybody. How are we all? Happy Monday. I used to hate Mondays, quite like them now. It's probably because I don't have to get up and go to work. Hi, Anne. Your early bird again this week. Did you do it to get the best seat in the house, Anne? Hi, Connie. Hi, Bonnie. Hi, Evelyn. Hi, Debbie. Karen. Hazel, Sue, Kathy, Helen, Teresa, Val, Donna. See how many. Lorraine on Facebook. Deborah, Janice, Jan, Jean, Jodie, Maz, Adrienne, Andrea. Hi, Pat. Hope you're well, lovely. Hi, Karen. Hi, Marion. Hi, Amanda. Gosh, there's quite a few of you here already. Thank you very much for joining me once again on a Monday. Not sure what it's like where you are. It's quite cold here. I mean, it's not raining, but it is quite cold. So, hey ho. Right, so today we're going to be recreating one of the cards that Lisa showed on her live on Friday night. I'm assuming you can all hear me okay, by the way. I should have asked, shouldn't I? I'm sitting here talking to myself otherwise. So yeah, we're recreating one of the cards that Lorraine made using the nested hearts. And it's a Z-fold card. I know Lorraine's was pink based, or sort of pinky red, because she used poppies. Obviously I'm using the Corner Poppy as well, but I didn't want to use red, so I've gone with completely different colours, but I just wanted to use something a little bit different. So I've used most of the product that Lorraine used, but I've also added in some extra special little bits. So we're using the heart stripes, and that was for the front panel on the front Z part of the card. We're using the Corner Poppy Layering Stencils and the Embossing Folder. I'm not using the dies on this occasion because I don't need to cut it out. So I am only using the Embossing Folder and the Layering Stencils. And obviously I'm also using the nested hearts. But what I'm also using is Lisa's fabulous pick of the week. Now, I don't know whether you've had an email, you should have done, to say that this is Lisa's fabulous extra special pick of the week. Now, you'll see that I've left the link to the website up there. Where is it? Up there. Okay. If you click that, that should take you to the front page of the website. Now, this is on a phone, and this is the front page of the website, and you can see quite clearly that Lisa's pick of the week is on the front page of the website. If you just scroll down a little bit, it will actually give you further details, and all you need to do is just click on that picture to take you to where you need to buy it and check out. But what I will say is the price on this is phenomenal. You are saving as much as you're spending. It's half price. It's $46.96, but that's just for this week. Okay, it will end midnight on Sunday. Don't know whether you can see that, says midnight on Sunday there, and it will be midnight on Sunday. Okay, so if you haven't got these and you want them, I seriously would go and have a look and purchase them at this fabulous price, because not only do you get these 6 little sets, you also get these, which I think are sort of like ticker tape phrases. And if you've been with Lisa from the start, you will remember that Lisa out some ticker tape phrases ages and right near the beginning, and they were printed ones, but there were also stamps. But I think these are so much better. They just, there is one for every occasion you could possibly want. But these 6 work individually. But not only do they work individually, they also work intertwined. You could take elements from each of them and add them with a different main sentiment. Okay, now I've used them in a slightly different way today. I haven't just put happy birthday or birthday wishes or whatever, and I'll show you that in a little while. Okay, but it is one of the best deals I've ever seen Lisa do. So if you saw them when they first came out and you thought no, it's a bit pricey, can't afford it, then think about it again, because as I say, they will only be this price for a week. Okay, so only till midnight Sunday. All right, so please be quick. I don't know how many there are. I'm assuming there are a fair few for her to put them on at such a fantastic price. But if you want them, I'd grab them just to be on the safe side. Okay, so that's those. So first things first, we're going to ink up our Corner Poppy onto our heart. So if I just put up here which inks I've used, I've only used 3 because I didn't want to go over the top with inks. I didn't want to put greens and all sorts of different shadings in. I just wanted to use 3 inks. All right. Now the beauty of the tacky mat means I can sit my heart on my tacky mat, and I can put my heart exactly where I want it on my stencils. Okay, so first things first, I used one of the sentiments. I used the thanks from this set. I've already stamped it onto my heart, and the reason I've put that down first is because what I wanted to do was give myself a sort of an anchor for where I'm going to put my flowers. Okay, so by putting that in first, I can see exactly where I'm going to put my flowers. All right, so that's the main stamp that I've used. So if I just go back to that. Okay, so get my stencils, and I will decide where to place this by using stencil number 3 because it's got the most of the flower detail on. Can you see that? So I want to use this to position it on my heart. All right, now I don't want any of these flowers touching that word. Don't mind them being a bit close, but I don't want them touching. So obviously my flower this end is going to hang off the corner. Don't mind that. It all adds to the look of the card at the end. All right, then I'm going to put that down there, and then I'm going to just press that down, take this one off, and then we can start with our stencils in order. Okay, so I now know that that is in the right position and it's not going to move. All right, so number 1. Now these are mainly leaves, and you're not going to get very many leaves on here, so I'm only just going to ink where I need to. Now I'm going to use my cobblestones for this, because I didn't want to go with greens. I didn't want too many different colours. So I'm going with grey, and I am going quite light. So I'm going to put my lid up here, and I'm going to take off quite a bit of the ink, because I can always go in and add a little bit more afterwards, but obviously once I've added the ink I can't take it away. So I don't want to go too heavy-handed and spoil it. I want this to be sort of really quite subtle, obvious but subtle. Okay, so we just go in here with this cobblestones, and you can see I'm taking a lot of the ink out of the lid because I know there's ink in there, but I know there won't be as much as taking it off the ink pad. So if you only want a sort of a really light touch, then take your ink off your pad, put it into your lid, and then take your ink out of the lid, and it will give you a really soft coverage. Okay, so just lift that up gently. See, that's really quite soft. In fact, you could probably hardly see that, but it is there, I promise you. Running out of space to put stuff. Right, so in with number 2. Now you can see here there are sort of like little dots. I'm going to miss this one here because it's off the edge of the heart, but the little dots here I'm going to do in Coral Beach, because I want those to be in colour as opposed to grey. The stems are going to be grey, the same as everything else that I've already done. Okay, so go back in with that grey, and we can go a little bit darker on here because these are the stems of the flowers. So I'm going to go tiny little bit darker, but still not too dark. I want it darker than the leaves, but I don't want it too dark that it's sort of going to be too loud, if you like. I'm not watching many of your... You've been playing with your circle edge dies, have you, Janet? Fabulous. Okay, so that's number 2. So you can see they're quite a bit darker than the leaves, and that's exactly what I wanted. So if I move the lid for that there. Now, my poppies aren't going to be red, as I said. I'm using Coral Beach and Pina Colada. And the Pina Colada is going around the outside, and then I'm going to come into the middle with the Coral Beach, just to give them a little bit of a different look. Okay, so I'm going to start with the Pina Colada, and again I'm starting light because I don't want it to be particularly heavy colouring. I want it to be sort of really quite subtle, because I don't know whether you can remember on Lorraine's card, she's also put the same image onto the piece that goes inside the card. I've already done that stenciling because I didn't want to do 2 lots, because if you see me do 1 lot of stenciling, you won't want to see me do the same again. So I've already done that bit, and that is really quite a soft, subtle colouring. So I want this to be similar. I don't want this to be really, really bright. I don't know whether you noticed on the sentiment, I did most of the sentiment in cobblestones, but then I did the bottom half in Coral Beach to give it sort of an ombre look, because I just thought it was a little bit different. So this little piece here, you can see it will lift if you're not careful. So what I always tend to put my finger on this piece here, so that as I'm going round, I'm not actually lifting that piece. Okay, it's quite a small piece, but it's quite an integral piece. But the trouble is you can't join it to anything, otherwise you won't get the right look on your flowers. Okay, so we've done the Pina Colada, and then I'm going to come in with Coral Beach. Okay, so again, taking a lot of the ink off on the stencil, and I'm going in with this Coral Beach. This is quite light, so what I will do is go a little tiny bit darker, but not a great deal. Okay, so again, I'm going to put my finger down on this piece here, and I'm going round in really quite gentle circular motions, and then I'm going to move my finger and go in from the other side, because I don't want that piece to move. Right, so perhaps go in the direction of that tiny little piece of mylar, and then you won't spoil anything. So again, like I say, I'm starting in the middle on that sort of bigger piece of mylar in the middle that is the middle of the flower, because that's going to be a different colour when I come to put the next layers down. I'm going a little bit darker there. I'm just going to come back with that Pina Colada, and I'm just going to fill in a little bit around that flower there, just to fill in that little gap, and just to blend those colours in a little bit gentle. Now these 2 little pieces here are sort of like the openings of a new flower, and I've done them yellow, but I'm going to go back over them just with that Pina Colada, just because that's the colour I've done them on the original, and that's the colour I liked. So again, lifting this off gently, because obviously the stencil is sticking to the tacky mat, which is great, but what I don't want to do is lift this with that. So just be mindful when you're lifting it off. Okay, so now we come into the centres of those flowers, and I'm going in with grey, but I'm going in quite light. Okay, Don't think I went with grey on the first one, but we'll see. Okay, so that's number 4, and we've only got 2 more. So there's only 6 with this set, and I really don't think you need any more, but you get, as I've said with Lisa's things, you get exactly what you need. Okay, so I'm just going to take that off there because I don't think we need that anymore. And then just put all these veins on the petals, and I'm going in here with Coral Beach. And again, I shall lift this off, see what it looks like, and then decide whether I want any more colour. Because obviously you can sort of see what you're putting down, but obviously you can't really see the effect until you take this stencil off. But because you've got the peg system, you can of course take it off, put it back, and not worry that it's not going to be in the right place. So I'll just lift that off. I think I'm going to go a little bit heavier on this one down here, just because I can, basically. Okay, just lift that off. Yeah, that's better. And then finally, just the detail on the centres of those flowers. So because I've done the centre of the flower grey, I'm going to go in there with that PINA COLADA just to try and lift that colour in the centre. We'll see what it looks like, and then we might go over it with that Coral Beach if I don't like it, but we'll see. Okay, yeah, I quite like that. I might actually go over that with that Coral Beach, because I don't think the yellow stands out quite enough. So we'll just go over the top of that with that Coral Beach. That's better. Okay, so that's your stenciling done. Obviously you're going to have to stencil the other piece that's going to go into the back of the card, which I'll show you in a minute. But I mean, you saw how quick that was. That hardly took me any time at all, really, did it? And then of course you can just lift your heart, and there's your stenciled piece. Okay, now you could leave it like that if you really wanted to, but I always think embossing it just lifts it that little bit. So I'm going to take my embossing folder and I'm going to place this in here, and because I've used a heart, I know that it's going to fit inside my use it the right way around. I know it's going to fit inside my embossing folder without any problems. So find a flower, line your embossing folder up, hold it in one place, and then fiddle around until you've got the whole of the flowers in the right place. Okay, I think that's about right. And as I've said before, don't worry if when you put it through it moves or you haven't got it quite lined up, because you can always put it back in the folder and redo it. All right, so I'm just going to emboss this. Remember to change your plate setup to fit your 3D embossing folders, and remember not to put your hinge near the top of your plates. Okay, so keep your hinge away from the top of your plates, otherwise you risk cracking your hinge on your embossing folders, and you don't want that. Okay, so if I lift that out of there, now look at the difference that has made to that design. It's just lifted that really beautifully, hasn't it? And I just think it's worth taking that couple of extra minutes just to emboss it, because it really lifts the design. Now if you look at the deboss on the back, it's so deep. They really are. I know a lot of people don't like fussy cutting, but with Lisa's embossing folders, it makes fussy cutting a lot easier, because of the depth of the folder gives you a line to follow. So, you know, don't be afraid of it. Okay. So what I also did was I cut another heart. Okay. And I've just gone round the sides of this with Coral Beach so that it all ties in. Okay, because if you remember on Lorraine's card, she'd got a heart that sort of stuck out at the back, and all you need to do is place it where it is aesthetically pleasing for you. Really, it is totally up to you how you sight this heart on the back. I like that you can't see the point of the one behind and you can't see the top here, because it's the same size heart. This is the biggest heart in the set. Because it's the same size, you're not going to get a piece up here and round here and down the bottom. So you've got to make a decision as to which piece you want visible behind that heart. And for me, I think that's about right. Okay, so I'm just going to put my glue on this piece because I don't know where it's going to sit on here. So I'm just going to put my glue down here. Don't do this to me, glue. And then I know that this will sit where I want it to sit. So you've got a little bit of wiggle room with this glue, as I've said before. And then just put your heart where you want to set it that looks nice to your eye. Okay, so that's one side of your heart. Can you see that? So then I'm going to put the other piece on the other side and try and gauge it about the same if you can. I mean, you're going to have to do it by eye because it really isn't going to be worth getting a ruler out and measuring it. So I think that's about right. So I'm going to put my glue on this side, and this will also give this heart here a little bit more stability on the front of your card when you add it down to the front of your card. Okay, so let's pop this one on here. I want it to sit so that I can just see a tiny little bit down at the bottom, like so, and then a tiny little bit at the side. So there you go. Pull that out a little bit. So what you want to try and do is get as much here as you've got here, which I haven't quite got. There we go. And as much at the side here as you've got on this side, so that it looks more or less even. Okay. And I just think that gives it a really nice feel to it. It just makes you think that there's another heart behind it. Okay. I'm actually going to move this out of the way and just put that cover over the top. Always keep your acetate for your tacky mat so that you keep it dust free. That way it will stay tacky a bit longer. Okay, so my Z-fold card is a 7x7. I'm not sure what Lorraine used. I think it's a 7x7. It sort of fits. You're welcome, Sandy. It's a very clever trick, but I think it's really, really effective. Okay. Was it a 6x6? Oh. Now, you see, I thought it was a 7x7, but whatever. I think it works either way, to be fair. So, you remember I said I'd used some of the sentiments from this set, but I'd also pinched one from one of the other sets. And I know that when Lorraine did her card, she used the striped hearts embossing folder, and she did hers on a solid colour piece of card. All right. I wanted this to look a little bit different to the one that Lorraine had done. I didn't want to copy it as is. So what I thought was, before I embossed it, I used all the sentiments off here that sort of went after thanks. So thanks a lot. Thanks for being so kind. Thanks for being there. Thanks to you. Now that to you came from the, I think it was the birthday set. It wasn't. I can't remember. Let's have a look. Oh, there you go. It was on the congrats set. So, I mean, I could have used to you both. Thanks to you both. Thanks from the heart. I could have used so many more on here, but I wanted them to fit 2 at a time, so 2 next to one another. I wanted there to be 2. Okay, so what I did was I placed those onto my acrylic block side by side, and then I stamped them onto the card. So I think that was where it finished. So there's 2, 4, 6, 8 sentiments there, and then I just repeated them and then repeated them again. You can't get a full 3 lots of 8, but that doesn't matter. It was just a case of trying to get everything that sort of went with thanks onto this piece of card, just to give it a little bit of interest in the background. Okay, so like I said, all those sets of stamps really do work together. And then this is just going on here like so, and this is literally, I think the card is 17 centimetres square, so I think this was 16.5 by, I think it's 8, because obviously I've folded this in half. Have a look. 8.5. Okay, so all I've done is take my 7x7 base card and I've just put a score line down the front of the card and folded it back on itself. It's the simplest Z-fold card you'll ever make, and why go to any trouble of making anything more complicated when it can be that easy and look really good. So I've inked the card with the Pina Colada and the Coral Beach, and then I've put all my sentiments on, and then I've run it through the embossing folder. Okay, so if I hold that up, can you see that better? If I hold that up a little bit, I just wanted it all to tie in, and I wanted to use those sentiments. You can see I made a mistake here because there's some on the back as well. Hadn't got them quite lined up, but it's a piece of card. I could turn it over and I could redo it. So I'm being a little bit more generous with the glue because obviously I'm adding this embossed piece and I want the glue to sit in all the right places. So I'm just going to pop that down there like so. If you wanted to do a matte and layer, you could, you know, use another different coloured piece of card if you wanted. So if you want a black background, just cut this a tiny little bit smaller and then mat it onto a piece of black and then put it onto your card. You could do that as well. I didn't want really dark colours on this card. I wanted it all to be really soft, subtle colours. Okay, so then on the inside here, you can see here that I've stenciled the same Corner Poppy in the same colours, but I've gone quite a little bit softer on this. Now, I think on Lorraine's card, Lorraine's flowers were sitting off the edge of this piece of card. There's no right or wrong way. It looks equally as good either way. So that, again, is your personal choice. You know, you do what you want to do. If you want it off the card, like this is off the card, then do that. If you want it sitting within the card, do that as well. Now you can see here that I've put a little sentiment down here, which is off one of these sets, and this I've said Sending Sunshine, so this is off the Happy Vibes set. So there's 2 sets here, one's Happy Vibes, one's Everyday, but to be perfectly honest, they're all sentiments you could use every day. They're fabulous, and you can use them for so many different occasions. So again, all work together. So I'm just going to pop this bit of glue on the back of here, and I'm putting this down first before I put the heart on the front, because where I put the heart on the front will depend where the flowers sit on the back here. I mean, how easy is this card? And yet, when you see it held up, like Lisa held it up on Friday, Lorraine's particularly, it just looks so stunning. And it's just a, you know, Lisa's product can make anybody look great. If you think you're not good at colouring, the stencils are perfect for you. If you think you can't use the stencils because you're no good with colours, honestly, it really is just about practice. So sort of sit with some, I don't know, copy paper and have a practice. Make a note of what colours you're using and then sit back Don't look at it on the day, put it to one side, and then come back a couple of days later and have another look at it, and you will see it in a completely different view. Okay, so if you do some colouring and you think, don't like it, looks awful, don't throw it away. Put it to one side, go back to it on another day, and then you can always add another colour. You know, it's one of those things. It's practice. It is purely practice. So don't give up on it. Okay? Has Janet gone, has she? No worries, Janet. Right, so then it's just a case of placing your heart on the front. Now, I'm placing the heart so that the point of the heart sits on the fold of the card. All right? So I don't want to put glue on the wrong side of the card. So all I'm going to do, just take a pencil, is just put a faint line on the back of that heart there, and it is really very faint, and then I'm just going to add my glue on this side. Now remember which side you need to add your glue. All right, so that's going there, and then I'm going to put my hand where I want my glue, otherwise I'll forget and I'll put it on the wrong side. You know, like I did with my little album on last Thursday. Always remember where your glue's going to go and where it shouldn't go, more importantly. Okay, so then we're just going to place that down there like so, with the point of the heart sitting on the fold, and then just hold that down for a couple of seconds so that that glue takes. It won't take long because it's Lisa's fabulous glue, and it will hold. Once it's down, it's down. It was a 7x7. Yeah, you see? Thought it was. Okay, so there you go. Now I know Lorraine's was a birthday card and she put mum down here and she put happy birthday in here. You could, of course, stamp something in here if you wanted to as well. That again is entirely up to you. It depends what your card is. But I just wanted to do something a little bit different. And like I said, I wanted to use different colours. And the reason I wanted to use different colours was to show you that although it's called Corner Poppy, it doesn't have to be red. You know, it can be whatever colour you want it to be. So just go with the flow. If you've got favourite colours, try your favourite colours, because you never know, it might look fantastic. It might look awful, but it might look fantastic. So just try. And I think now I look at it, I can see why Lorraine's went off the edge, because then you see more of the flowers behind the heart. But I don't really think it makes that much difference, because once you open it out, you can see those flowers anyway. So when it's sort of sitting on a mantelpiece or a table or whatever, you can see this set of flowers anyway. So I don't really think it matters. It's whatever you want to do. Okay. Yeah, I think it looks cracking in whatever set of colours you use, Donna. I don't think it really matters. It's just such a beautiful, beautifully designed set. And it could be whatever you want it to be. So I really like the pale colours on here. And as I say, that's why I went with the same colours on that embossed piece in the background there. So there you go. There's my card for today. So don't forget, like I said, half price, these fabulous mini sentiments. And I'm not being funny, you will use them to death, because they are so versatile, and you don't have to use just one set. You know, they interchange beautifully. So if you were thinking about it, now's the time to get it. Half price is amazing. Okay, so they're there for a week. They're there till Sunday night at midnight. So please don't miss out. Okay, so I will love you and leave you there. Don't forget to join Claire tomorrow at 2, and then Claire will be with you again on Thursday. I know Lisa's landed safe and sound, so I will be watching tomorrow. Please give her all the support you can. I know she's I wouldn't say I think she's excited, but obviously it's something new, so it's, you know, a little bit unknown at the moment, but I know she'll smash it because she just loves what she does. So I hope you all decide to watch tomorrow night, and I think it's around about 8 o'clock, but obviously that can change a little bit, I'm led to believe. So it will be round about 8 o'clock and we will share it into the group. Okay, so it will be on Suzanne Runyon's page, but we will share it into our group as well, so you won't miss it. Okay, you only purchase 3 sets at the time. Ooh, you might need to get them all, Connie. Anyway, I will love you and leave you there. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed that, and I will see you all very soon. So take care of each other and yourselves.